it will happen. When you dream big, do you know what it does to you? It shapes your mind. It skews your mind to the direction of success. It skews your mind to the direction that you are setting your eyes on the goal, not on the challenge. There is so much that is happening in this world that have caused a lot of people to give up. But if your mindset is set right, that is the biggest resource you can ever have in life. That is when you fall, your mindset is still rich. You can still get back to where you belong in life. I don't want to start inspiring you. Catch me on the Mindset Revolution on the Step Out Seminar coming out on the 5th of November. Trust me, it is going to be awesome. The maiden one was awesome. The feedback keeps me going. And trust me, come and let us have fun. Catch me on Facebook, Oscar Bimpong, and you have more updates on that. Julia, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
It's been interesting, isn't it?
Yes, very interesting.
I've got a text here from somebody.
Okay.
And I think I have to read it before we continue.
Okay, sure.
He says, enjoying the program, Oscar. Very insightful. And tell your guest we would like to hear from her again. Keep up the good work, guys.
Oh, wow.
That's a plus, isn't it?
Yes.
You have already got another slot, isn't it?
Thank you so much. That's my
yeah, his name is Gerald. Yes. Gerald, we would like you to call as well. Yes, the phone lines are now open to call us. If you are in the UK, you can call us 0208 133 2257. 0208 133 2257. Or 0208 133 2258. 0208 133 2258. If you are in US or Canada, you can call us on 001 718 303 2737. 001 718 303 2737. Or you can WhatsApp us or call us on WhatsApp on 075 3966 1744. 075 3966 1744. Please call or text to contribute to the show because Julia would like to hear your voice. She's got so much in her that don't let her take it away. Julia, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Now,
yes,
our educational system.
Yeah.
Does it come with practicality? Is it only theory? Are we lacking the practical aspect of our educational system?
I think it's not coming very in a handy way or very in a practical way, because I will speak from experience. As you mentioned earlier, I did go to Senegal for a workshop and for a conference, and part of what I did was to visit a school actually there in the north of the country, in a place called Matam, up north near Mali. And the thing with this school, and it's an example to other schools, is first of all, Senegal is a country whereby 45% of people are educated. The rest are not.
That's Senegal.
Yeah, that's Senegal. So
that's why you had a conference. Yeah?
That's why I had one conference so far in Africa. But the thing is, one of the problem is, you know, with education, you have to look at the bigger picture. In people in the rural area who are struggling to get the basic needs, education of their children is not a priority. In this particular school, they couldn't keep the children for the afternoon session. They only had children until 1 o'clock because they did not have food or water to feed them after that time. So they had to send them back home to their parents, whereby when they go back home again, there's no food. There's, you know, we have such things. So if we are talking about inspiring our kids and making them realize and become what they are really meant to be, we need to start addressing other things, such as making sure there is food in our schools, because in the rural areas, because we are still lacking behind. We need that. We need to support them in different ways. We need to support them also with like the uniform, the clothes.
So you are saying those things are even more important than even talking about teaching them in the classroom. If those things are not addressed, then teaching them in the classroom will not even work.
It's pointless because they won't be listening if they are hungry. They won't be listening if, their clothes are tattered and, maybe it's very cold in the morning, they are freezing.
Can you imagine?
Concentrate.
There is a story of two girls in Ghana who were using, just recently, about 2-3 weeks ago, they were using the same uniform to school. So they goes to a shift school where some go in the morning, some goes in the afternoon. So when this one comes home, he will hand over the school uniform to the other sister to go to school, just because the father died.
And you know what?
So does it mean that the government is not doing enough?
It's a lot, but again, for me, I don't like just to say about the government, because I've already said that's where we go wrong. With the development of Africa, in my opinion and in my observation, should be the responsibility of everybody.
Yes, but if it is the responsibility of everyone, but there are some basic resources that needs to be provided. There has to be a foundation for other people to build on, and the foundation should come from the government, isn't it?
It should come from them, but then first, before we talk about them, do we have the accountability mechanism? Because if those are not there, that's why we are not receiving them. So that is something that we need to address when it comes to the government. We first have to be able to have enough pressure groups and to have enough people to speak out and to force them to do things. So that is one element of it. But also a second element of how we can do it is also by ourselves in the community. How many times have the people who have made it from the village, you've made it, you went through the suffering life or whatever you went through, and then somehow you found yourself in university, somehow you found yourself abroad, but how many times do we go back home to our village? Not to inspire them, not just to tell them words, but go with gifts. That's what I'm saying. Do not just go with something for your family. Go with think beyond that. Go and contribute to your community. So I think that is something else we need to do as individuals. Like, for example, if I can say, like, the school that you went to, you might know some other people who have made it. You can all organize something together, do a fundraiser or whatever, even yourselves, if you're able to just put your own resources in there. You do that. Go visit your school, see what they are lacking, and then contribute towards that. And by so doing, you'll be able to change somebody's destiny. So I think we also have a part to play, actually.
I think we are not doing that.
No, we are not, because you only want to be
We are just thinking about ourselves.
Yeah, you only want to be the only rich man in that village, and that's not right. You have to actually contribute and make it better and make it worthwhile for others. So don't just think about your family.
So do you think African rich men are not doing enough? Or people in society in general?
Yeah, people in the society. I like that, because you don't have to be rich to actually impact or make a change, because even if you don't have the resources, you can be connected to people who have. You might have studied with people who are now in another level, and maybe, for example, your skill is inspiring others, so you could inspire people to come together in a fundraiser for a particular project, for a particular school.
Yes.
Maybe you don't have anything else to offer. Again, what I said, your time is a resource, the energy that you use is a resource, so people get confused about what you're talking about.
And people always think it's about money. No. It's not always about money.
No, it's not.
I have got this young boy here that I'm mentoring. He is now in the Africa Voice in UK, one of the biggest celebrated magazines in the UK. And what did I do with this guy? It's about connecting him to the right people.
Yeah, that's even...
This is not money.
Yes.
But connecting his talent to the right people.
Yeah, channeling them. That's mentorship. And as I said, with Question Africa from January, that's what we will be doing. So we'll be having interviews of influential and prominent people. But we won't let them go from just appearing in our show and telling people what they do and giving them tips. No, we want to go beyond that, where they can our youths in Africa and elsewhere can submit their questions and they can ask them, please guide me into doing 1, 2, 3. And what we do as Question Africa, we take those questions and connect them to the right people so that they can be mentored and so that they can actually improve and become what they're supposed to be.
It's quite sad, because I think talking is not enough.
No.
When you talk, you have to provide a way that is going to bring an improvement in the life of that person.
Yeah, it's true.
And the talking has been too much.
Yeah, hence question Africa.
Hence
You know,
question
just
Africa.
don't talk. Go beyond that. What
Go-
solution are you trying
What
to provide?
solution?
Yes,
I think question Africa should go places.
it is good.
I like the idea behind it.
Thank you.
And I think these are some of the things. I think I will speak to my bosses to really partner in terms of media. I'm not going to give any surety, but because if something is great, then you need great minds to be behind it to really push it forward.
Thank you.
Yes. Now the grading system in Africa, where it's about learn, go and pass, and go out into the system. Do you think it's the right thing for our educational system?
No, I have to disagree. I don't think it's the right thing, because what we do mostly in Africa, we do theory. Whether be it in the lower school and then you go to the high school, you do theory. Even the ones who have gone to university, they're still doing theories because they're not doing the practical side. You find someone is perhaps learning engineering or even civil engineering, where you have to maybe maintain roads for the government or maybe even do things with the trains, and all you do, you learn it through theory. You've never seen a train before. You've never even been like see how the engine of a train is. It's all diagrams and everything. That is wrong. You might pass with 100%, but when we put you into the work environment, you can't produce any results. And that's why like our government ended up giving one of the biggest contracts to the Chinese actually to construct our roads. When we have graduates with first degree, you know, they've graduated with first degree honors in civil engineering, but they didn't give them the job. But the problem you see is they could actually teach them even if they teach them theory side, they should try to partner perhaps with the Chinese to go and show them the practical side, not give the whole contract to the Chinese, and then our people now have no practical skills at all.
And the Chinese even bring their own employees.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, they get the whole contract.
So they get their money back to their pockets.
Exactly. So in Africa, we lose everything. So our graduates, they spent money in education, but because they have not been given the accessibility to actually practical skills, then they lose out again in experience. So they're not contributing to the country when they should be, but it's not their fault. We've let them down. The education system has let them down, and we really need to change that. We need to work on it big time.
Somebody says African leaders have to be generational thinkers to move the continent forward.
Have to be generational
thinkers to move the country forward. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I think that's what we alluded to earlier, that instead of thinking of now, instead of thinking of just myself or thinking of just my family, is thinking beyond that. What about the generations to come? I'm guessing that's what the person is talking about by the word generational leaders, is think beyond yourself and think of the greater good of the country. Where do you see this great country of yours, be it Ghana, be it Kenya, be it Senegal? Where do you see it in 100 years to come? So, and that's why Question Africa, we use the hashtag Africa Developed, because that's the kind of mindset we want people to see. When you think of Africa, you don't think of poverty or the other gritty pictures they show us, because trust me, there are some places in Africa that are so good you'd not even imagine it's in Africa, but then the media feeds us only the negative. But once we start thinking of the positive, Africa developed, and you start seeing it, not just seeing it in your head, because we have places that are really developed, then you will be inspired and encouraged to bring other places to that level of development.
When you go to Africa now,
yes,
I see that the youth are hungry to make changes with their lives.
Yes.
They are working so hard. They are finding strategic ways of doing things. Do you see that in Kenya?
Yes, we have that. But the barrier they get is, as you say, they either don't have the connections or they keep hitting doors that are closed because they don't know somebody in there. So we have to have people who can actually mentor them and guide them, because Africa is so rich in resources, in skills, in everything, you name it. We've got it in Africa. How to use it is a different story. We haven't got there. So we need to be able to bring our youths to a position whereby they can be able to release this sort of, this positive and potential that they've got, and it's appreciated. Again, as we said in the sort of the deals that they're getting, like the construction deals, if you're going to give the whole project to the foreigners, how do you expect our youths to use their potential? At least give them an internship or even a probation period. Like, you're coming here for 3 months probationary. We see how you perform. If you perform well, then we'll extend your contract. But they don't get that. Is you look at their papers, and as you say, they've learned only theory and go like, you've never done this before. And so you just shut the door on their face, which is very wrong. We should try and change that, and we should work. So many organizations should come together, think tanks and everything. As I'm saying, it's about bringing accountability to our governments. That's the key.
Our phone lines are still open. We will be going for a commercial very soon after some few questions. But please call on the show to contribute to the show. We've got 0208 133 2257, 0208 133 2257, or 0208 133 2258. Please call and contribute to the show. Now, do you think government have got a lot of initiatives to solve these issues of our educational needs? Because trust me, you see, it is so sad that you go to a school, they don't have a chalk.
Yeah.
Just common chalk. We are not talking about felt pen to write. Chalk. They don't have it. Now, I shared something on my Facebook today, or was it yesterday night? 3 children dead because they have to pass through a bridge to school. And that bridge, they fell off the bridge, fell in the water or whatever stream is it, and they died. 3 of them.
That's so sad.
That's so sad.
That's very sad.
How much does it cost to build a bridge? Do you see, this you want other people to take that initiative to build a bridge, right?
Yeah.
I think the government should have more initiatives to address these issues.
Yeah, they should have. But the thing is, accountability. I appreciate that the citizens, you can't go about doing public service when it's supposed to be the job of the government. So we need to be able to hold them accountable.
Now, you see, this word of accountability has come up several times today.
Yes.
How do you hold them accountable?
Okay, first of all, I gave an example. You remember of when I said that a person who was doing diligently well in their job got fired. And then when you employ someone else, you expect them to follow your rules because otherwise they will lose their job. But if the successor would also be diligent, they will get tired of firing people because the country will have an outcry because it's a disservice to your country. And so that the accountability is from the individuals, from the citizens towards the government. So if you can stand your ground, and even if you're fired, you still continue doing and being what you're supposed to do to your country, that would work. The other thing we have to do is we can come together as the community, as the organization, not to build the bridge, but every organization, you have a local MP or someone who is supposed to be elected. And as I said, we have the power because we put them in those positions, not the other way around. They're not there to do us favors. They're actually there to serve us. So what you have to do is to bring it to them and tell them, you know what, you need to do 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, we will have to take you away. Like, we will have to ask you to step down as our leader. And then something else, when you come to accountability, is having the other arms of the government, which now we have to start involving the courts. If you know, so our court system in Kenya, it's quite developed. So actually you could go to court, but then it will take time. And then the social media, it has to start reporting such things. You know, when you put someone out there, the embarrassment itself will make them to work. So we have so many avenues to bring them into accountability. So we ourselves are just lazy to do it. Because if you went out and demanded, you know what, go and build that bridge, and the government said no, then the next thing you have to do is bring the media along, broadcast it, so that the whole country sees what's happening. And again, if they don't do it, then get the lawyers to go. So like we have organizations which have funding for such things, to perhaps start a case or a petition. We have rich people, as you say, who would
But
be able
sometimes
to spend the money.
sometimes it looks like when you ask and ask and ask and they don't do it, you tend to give up. And I think that is the problem that we have.
Yeah, that's
because
a
I
big problem.
remember I went to Ghana sometime, and I haven't gone to Ghana for some time. And when I went, the road leading to my house, it was far, far, far ways. And I really wanted to park the car and walk, because I thought the car was even having too much stress on that road, So when I went home and I was telling my mom, why are you people sitting down to use this road? My mom said, we've complained and complained, nobody is listening, so we've stopped.
No, but you're paying taxes.
But that is the problem. You see, it's like people are paying deaf ear to it, and nobody is standing up to organize the community to fight against it. You made a statement that it is not only you have to get people involved to fight with one voice. So if nobody is standing up, then the problem stays the same.
The problem stays, and the government just keeps winning and winning, and we the citizens, we keep losing, because at the end of the day we even pay taxes, so, and those taxes should go towards infrastructure. So it's your right to actually challenge and say, what have you done with my taxes? Because as I say, the government is not there to do us favors. They are there to act for us. They are supposed to be servants. We are not the servants for the government as citizens. We elected them to work for us. But what we tend to think in Africa, because once you elect someone into office, they come up with big cars and what have you, and you start looking up to them. They're supposed to look up to you because you are the one who has given them that position. So we have to come up with mechanisms of telling them, what, if you don't work, seriously, you have to relinquish your role for someone who can do the job. We have to start being that tough.
I think I have to find a way to give you a Ghanaian passport, because I think you can help my country.
I'm going in Africa. I love Africa so much. We have to work together.
That's really interesting. We
have to work together, because, as I say, the development of Africa, if you follow me a lot on Facebook, one time, I did speak with someone about that, and I told them that it won't happen with only one African country.
Yes.
Because we are interconnected together. So we all have to work together, the African countries, to address our problem. Because we suffer from the same problem.
It cuts across.
Yes.
The gutters in Ghana are uncovered and the one in Kenya are uncovered.
Yeah.
It marvels me. I think Ghana should have thought differently. Kenya would have, when you go to most African countries, gutters are uncovered. Why are we thinking the same?
It's the same. But
is it generational? What is wrong? Is it our foundation the same?
No, it's the
Is it the colonization? What is actually wrong?
No, it's the mindset. It's the thinking. So we have to start changing our mindset. We have to start changing the mindset of our youths, so that when they become leaders, they can come with that renewed mindset of actually doing the right thing and not continuing with our ignorance, because that's what's happening. Just the same mindset of, we've elected politicians, and then they start driving nice cars and big cars, and you think, oh my God, they're doing me a favor. Whereas in real sense, you are their boss.
Yes.
You are the boss. So it's that kind of mindset that we need to really address urgently, I have to say.
Sufficient investment into our educational system.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You leave this country, you leave Ghana, you leave Africa, you go back to your university, you go back to your college, you go back to your secondary school, and it's worse off. There is no investment. The environment that these children needs to learn is not even conducive for them to really have that peaceful mind. Up to now, we've got schools that are under trees in Ghana. I don't know about Kenya, but probably you have to be somewhere in the village.
In very rural areas. Yes, yes.
So how can this child come out and be competitive in the world market?
They're in a very disadvantaged place. But you were right to say that just because you made it, just because you went to university, I think I've said this before, as I say, it's not about the money. Bring people together that went to the same school, alumni. that is what it's called. And start going back to your own school. Start doing even fundraising. Here abroad, you see people, before I didn't understand it, you're saying I'm running for charity. I didn't used to understand it. But it's actually people are sponsoring you with money for you to do an activity, which is the running. But then the money goes into a cause. So you don't have to have the money. If it's the money you are looking for, you can start fundraising in different ways. But the most important thing, the fact that you have made it, is the mindset. Stop thinking of just your family, think of the community. And actually, if more people can come together, even if you're not even contributing a lot of money, even a pound among 100 people, that is 100 pounds. And in Africa, you can use that in that school under the tree. I'm sure we have trees if we are still allowed by the climate change and environmental laws, to build. Otherwise, we can look into other, climate change allowing ways in which we can try and build sustainable roof or sustainable shelters so that our kids are not. I think
we've got a caller on the line. Yep. Hello? Yeah, who am I speaking to and where are you calling from? Gerard from Croydon. Yes, what have you got to tell us, please? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Gerard from Croydon. That was powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, I love when he said that. It's like cancerous, when.
But cancerous, I hope it's not stage 5 cancer. at least maybe it's stage 1. No, stage 1.
So
no,
we can cure it.
No, it's 3. We need chemotherapy.
Chemotherapy for Africa public service. Oh no. Let's hope it's stage 1, so at least or even there is none. Let's just hope it was a misdiagnosis.
But it's interesting, Sometimes I think some of these things, when you listen to it, it gives you a different perspective. Like today, I've learned that it's not only about the government; it's about everybody getting involved. It's not about the money, but it's about gathering the resources that you have. It's about connecting people, giving people direction.
Yeah.
There are so many ways there's an African proverb that says there are so many ways of killing a cat. There are so many.
As we used to say, killing a rat, I think.
Yes, So there are so many ways, and I think these are some of the things that we really need to learn. What we're going to do now is we'll be going for a very quick commercial break. When we come out, we will wrap up. It's been a very good evening, and I don't really want to stop this, but we need to keep going. Please don't change the dial. We'll be coming back very soon.